Nee, jak wahi, stekad Johan, awushkana khututa ati. Yewa hasidati tukhutank khanakaya, yahava yaku. Kakhanakhuke hastuini jahani. Kaka awe kwash. Jinkatak shuhihin, akrekhat wutien. We kuch klein kach shahid. Kwash. Jinkat katek gao. We kuch klein ayat de kach shahid. Aka awe akach. Chwahan. Akach gen chwahan. Yewa. Adati tuchwatansu. Hast du ihn chat bustien? Wegao. Hast du katangi qone yan chasakoin? Ya atshi. Ka. Kaga. Ya hast du katangidi. Wasashikuti yawe. Tash ade hast du ihn yu. Kan kataniya. We adadki. Wasahasa shaku hast du katangi. Yewe achtuasakutsu. Ya hayetki. Kai dultu. Kai hasakuchlatu. Yewa. A'akawtuwaneek the start. Ya a'akla data we Kudatankahídi. Hava ikrechat butien. Ho awe. Deyananan. Kawutisaku asad kakwane. Chan koa. Hasuinye jehwani. Kahayukatangi daye jehwani. Ye awe ya yidat. Gwash chuoya a'akawtuwaneek. Haji dachaya. Kadikade kagachtisaha. Question kata, question kata. Ya yidatidach. Hashugachtaha. Ya shingit rinach yuchasha atki. Yiin aya. Yechwaji. Ushachish. Ya tuwatlaki. Ya hayukatangi. Gulchish klein yejene. Gwashti tuasagu. Shingit rinach yuchayatki. Ayati. We ready to move on? Okay, we got 10 sentences. That's too sad for me to recap. We could do it some other time. Let me make sure I have the right one open. Oh, I'm just going to give you the answers. Okay, hold on. Okay. Is it this? Okay. Yet again? Okay, so we can go through this. And then I have a bonus round exercise for us. We'll see. I think we can do it. It's 30 sentences. We'll see if we can do it in the next 5 hours. How much time do we have? 4 hours? 2 hours, and then in the next 3 hours. Okay. I am going to walk to the store. What did we come up with? Okay. Good.
Sorry, no, not Jan. Just Jan.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Kudatankahídi de Jan Chagut.
That would be right now.
Well, that was kind of how I was looking at it, and be like, "Hey, I'm going to the store. Like, I'm walking out the door."
Okay. Okay. Anyone else? Any other thoughts, questions?
Kudatankahídi kagute. Did someone else say that? Kagute.
I don't know if we had it that way. Not yet. I came up with Kudatankahídi ʼakawtuwaneek. And it does go decessive as far as tone goes. ʼakawtuwaneek.
So what would what's the verb in this? Is it progressive and perfective or what's the future? Okay. That would explain why I got the verb wrong.
Yeah, and it's okay. So like this going to part should trigger us to think about a future verb. And so this, like, if I wanted this right underneath it to say, I am going to walk from the store, what would change?
That they would turn into a dag.
How would I spell it?
D, high tone A, underlined X.
Okay. An open suffix will be the opposite of the tone before it. A closed suffix will always be high. Now, is the verb the same? That's a loaded question.
I think it is, right?
I don't think it is.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
I think it's ʼakawtuwaneek. ʼakawtuwaneek.
Oh, because of that.
ʼakawtuwaneek.
So this is the uncontracted full version. This is how you say I am going to go. I'm going to walk. But because this one ends with a vowel, it triggers the contraction to go. This is the contracted version. Kukha and kukwa. As far as seeing how we get to kukakut, it's because we have ga, ga, cha, 0. So that's too many things. 0 doesn't count. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. There's just too many things. So one thing that can happen is, let's see, we're going to use some colors here. I'm going to use red to talk about, and I'm going to zoom in so we can actually see this.
Yeah, because I thought you were on sentence 2.
Right.
I know, I got confused.
Okay, so I'm going to use red to say it's going away. So if we pull this vowel from ga, what will it become every single time?
Isn't that a K?
That is a K. Yes. So that's been pulled. This converts us to a K. B stays there. Qa plus cha. Very, very common, this combination. It will become ka. These two will just say, hey, let's just add up. Let's just join forces. So we'll make them orange. So we say, hey, we're cool together. Let's become a new thing. So qa and cha, very like you'd say, cha, let me eat it, right? And there's different things you could say. Nakata, let me go to sleep. So ka is what we get. If this needs to contract, this becomes, and so the way it likes to contract is say, well, what if I jump over here? I don't know why that's a contraction. It doesn't, I guess you kind of take this vowel away, but it has to still be there, so it jumps over the other side. Kapwa. Okay, that was a lot. Let's walk to the store.
Kudatankahídi ʼakawtuwaneek.
Okay, is that what everybody got?
I got
What was the last word?
Kudatankahídi got to
Ah,
Okay.
I got Kudatankahídi de ʼakawtuwaneek, but I missed that it was a plural verb.
Oh, like ʼakawtuwaneek, is it? Okay, so we have,
Yeah.
so we had ʼakawtuwaneek, then we have ʼakawtuwaneek. We had another one? ʼakawtuwaneek.
Yeah, but I'm going to change it. I had good, and it should have been.
Okay, we'll change that to ot. So this little asterisk just means we just gotta fix it. That's all. Any other offering?
Actually, I didn't have the underlined X in the got to.
Yeah.
Like this.
And actually, so mine's
Right.
the underlined G with an A.
Right. That's what I got.
Me too.
Okay. We are in the hortatives. Yay! These are all hortative forms. Okay, so this would be ʼakawtuwaneek nachtuat. So there's something that we probably haven't covered with motion verbs. And here's how we're going to start thinking about it. If the motion includes a de suffix or a dach suffix or a nach suffix or the word nach, this is going to be na conjugation. Every time. Okay, so de is going to be na, dach is going to be na, nach is going to be na.
That give me a pencil, please.
This letter T to arrive at, the word ʼnéig to come inside, and dak or gagi are going to be zero conjugation motions. And so is, put one more in here, hot. Okay? So we know this because in the command form, we say, let's just say, wedenagu, wedachnagu, wenachnagu, anaknagu. Those would all have na in the command. We could say, well, here's the T onto hot. Hot, well, you end up with the T drop. So you go, haku, nothing in front of it. Nechgu, dakgu, gagigu. You could say qone. Qone is another one. I don't know if I want to add a whole bunch of them. So, because of that, any of these ones to say let's go are going to be nachtuat, because you're going to get na plus qa plus tu plus 0. So you have three things. So in this case, what we are going to do is pull this vowel. When you pull the vowel from qa, what do you end up with? So we pulled that vowel from ga, which got us a K. When you pull the vowel from qa, what do you get? Yes.
Line X.
Underline X, right? So this is very common stuff as far as how it works. So you end up with nach, tu. This tu, okay, we're just being so extra today. So tu and I, they both share a common trait. And here it is. Vowel in the classifier, they'll be short. No vowel in the classifier, they'll be long. This is not a vowel, so you get nach, tu. But this works for all of these, right? So nach, tu is going to be all of these. Ade nach, tu, a, da dach nach, tu, a, da nach, tu, a, da nach, tu, a. All of them. All of these ones, if you want to say, let's come inside, it doesn't work with using neich. Hot doesn't work either. Let's go out into the open. Dog qatu'at. Gagi qatu'at. Qane qatu'at. All of those. So then you have qa, tu, 0. Nothing needs to contract there. You only have two things. The only thing that comes into play is that this has to lengthen because there's no vowel. Do we know what Yéil is in this case when we're dealing with motion verbs?
Go like inside.
To come inside, because you have to be inside to use it. Which why you couldn't say Yéil nach tu an, because you would be inside already if you're using Yéil. You'd have to say hit ye de, or Yéil qatu at. You'd have to say hit ye de nach tu an. What does hot translate to?
Around here.
Yeah.
To here.
Here.
To this area. Dock.
Like out to the open, like the opposite from inland.
Yeah, out into the open, out to sea. Cookie. It's kind of the same thing. I don't know why. Out to the open. What about qane?
Is that beginning?
Huh?
Begin.
Yes. So you say qane go. Start walking, homie. Get to stepping. Okay, you can.
With the conjugation, is that for all verb modes, or is that something that is only for the hortative?
These are for all motion verbs.
Okay.
Motion verbs are unique because they can change their they can change their conjugation type. I could be 0, I could be na, I could be ga, I could be qa. Bring it on. But it's triggered by the type of motion which is given in the preverb. That's what makes them tricky. And all the handling verbs are all motion verbs. So they get doubly tricky. They say, we have all these 16 categories, and we could take any conjugation class we want to, depending on the type of motion. What else we can do in the last week of class? Learn all kinds of cool stuff.
Actually, that's very useful because I was wondering how to tell the difference between whether it was a na or a 0, and there you go.
Yeah, because you guys were nailing the 0 hortative. Like you said, qatucha, let's eat. Well, you'd say, let's eat it. You'd say, at qatucha, let's eat. Okay, good cheese. I used to live in Portland, but not anymore.
I had a question about what verb mode that is, because I feel like there is a verb mode for used to but not anymore, but I could not find that anywhere in the conjugator slides.
Okay.
So I'm head to guess.
I got Portland. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I do.
I
Hard
got
on this.
Portland. Yéil.
Isn't it decessive?
I had to throw a couple of sneaky ones.
Portland, Kayaaní.
Oh, yeah,
I came up with Portland.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay. Okay, well, I gotta come up with a new system. Oh, I'll duplicate this slide. That's all there on the previous slide. So let's just deal with the verbs. What did we have? Sorry, I shouldn't write these. Yéyati, yéchatit. Wait, I don't want to say it.
Yechatin. Right. Yechat.
It was short.
Say it again.
Yatin.
This, the vowel?
Yeah. With an N.
Oh,
I can see how they're getting.
okay. And
I
do you
had
have any-
ʼakawtuwaneek.
Yéyati.
underline X.
Like that?
No, oh, I didn't have a K.
Oh, okay. Like that?
Ah,
Okay. Okay, so any others? So the conjugator's got a lot, including stuff that's maybe I need to figure out how to make it easier to find, but I don't know. I don't really know. Okay. So if you get to, there's these submodes that are buried on a, like, so this is sort of like the section title page, I guess I would call it. And so it tells you what this mode is. In this case, it says thematic. We don't need that one. And then underneath it says the approximate definition. Like it's really just a generalization. And so the page after that shows the submodes that are part of that mode, including subordinate and perfective decessive, which we have, and this is not fair of me.
It wasn't.
I'm bad.
It was hard for
Well,
me.
that does it. We're all gonna fail now.
Nobody's failing. It's the last week of class. So we just gotta see like little extra things to like, oh, that
You
exists.
didn't want us to get complacent.
We're being challenged.
Right?
Challenged
yeah,
out of our
because
comfort
you
zone.
have mentioned that it was just a matter of remembering what it was you had said.
Right. And so these challenges are fun. Like I was on a beach in Yakutat in the summertime, and it was nice, warm weather, and this very tall person who liked to talk about how Tlingits used to murder people and the ways that the warriors would defeat each other. It was a combat veteran and was just a pretty hardcore person. He said, ʼakawtuwaneek, I'm gonna challenge you. So I was like, okay. And then he just said something really difficult. So yeah, so this is just a light little challenge.
So I got Portland Yéil teach.
Oh, so so if you had ʼakawtuwaneek before I was there. So this would be before, like if you say Portland, or you could put Portland inside the ʼakawtuwaneek. That's before I was in Portland.
Okay.
So
Obviously, it tells you how well I'm using the conjugator.
we're not even doing perfective decessive in advanced. So I don't worry about it. This is just another way to look at a thing. So if you want to say used to, but not anymore, this is what you're looking for. So what this thing tells you is it says conjugate it just like a negative perfective and then add in or un on the end. Right? And so just trying to sort of, the past couple years, I've been really trying to stack the verb modes to say, don't think about meaning, just think about patterns. And here's the pattern. Like if you can build a negative perfective verb, so like we could take, and we could practice it through the conjugator, right? So we could take seku, right, to know something. And we could scroll down here and we can say, oops, we could say we went too far. It's an S classifier. It's a zero conjugation. I know both of those things. So it's going to be short, high stem, and it's going to be kesh chasaku. There it is. But if I wanted to if I put this stem on here, it's going to drag this vowel out long and low. So I'd say kesh chasaku, and I didn't know that. But now I do. But you could also say chasaku, and I knew it, but I don't know it anymore. So with that,
let's walk through the sentence.
The verb that I like for this would be to reside in a place. But I think Yéil wuti is perfectly acceptable. So we'll do Yéil wuti first. This is a na conjugation. So we gotta scroll down to na conjugation. It's a zero classifier. Oh, whoops. Okay. But it also doesn't have a subject. So if a verb does not have a subject, you jump right down to the number 3. I guess this is another thing, I don't know how to code it in there. We just have to know. No subject, it's a straight third person verb. I don't know.
Wouldn't you be a subject?
What's that?
Oh, sorry, subject.
For Yéil wuti, for that one, it's an object only. So then you would say, okay, it's going to be wu. So now we can come back here and manufacture it. So you could say tesh ye chat wuti. And oh, sorry, I should go back here. And we can note here the stem should be long and low. So when we come back in here, this means I was not there. I was not there. Well, it could also mean I was not that way. So we have to put Portland in front of it to get it to shift over to the being at a place. Portland kesh ye chat wuti. So we can get rid of the klesh and add yin. Portland ye chat wuti yin. I used to be in Portland, but not anymore.
For the, does it change the control? I guess because I had 10.
Yeah, so there's an IN or a UN, but if it ends with a vowel, you got to put the Y or a W on there. Just a lot like going way back to that relational prophet, like when you say, you put an I on it to say it's possessed, right? Like kisi,
Right.
but you have to go te ye. So it has to, and it's gonna, that same rule is gonna drag over to here, or else you just can't hear it. And Hawaiian allows you to just smush your vowels together. Hawaiian's like, vowels, smush them. Doesn't even matter, different words, smush them all together. I had a real hard time with that because my Tlingit brain was like, no, you gotta put a Y or W or a glottal. And I was like, it's okay, Tlingit brain. We can have Hawaiian brain in here too. Okay.
And so is the dash just to show that you added the k, or would you
Yeah.
actually write it that way?
I would write it that way. I guess I do that because it's a non-Tlingit word. But that's really, you could write, but it looks a little, I guess I get confused by it. Kind of. And then we also, I don't know if we need to apply the Tlingit rules to it. So if you said Mississippi, like, I don't know if that ends in a vowel, then I have to start thinking about open endings. I'm like, no, just like -X. So getting rid of Portland, because it seems like there's plural Portlands. Okay, so our second verb has a subject and has a thematic prefix. Let's go look up the theme for it. Oops. I'm looking at fishing. We're going to ooh. So this is to live at a place or to own property at a place. So we have k for the thematic. We have a subject, zero classifier. It's fading, but we don't have to worry about that right now. It's na. So subject, zero, na, with k. So we go back into the conjugator. Now we're going to go down here to the one that does say thematic. We scroll down. This is 0 and 0, and we're looking for na conjugation zero classifier. It's right here. We look over here, we say that should be long and low. We're going to substitute capital CV. We're going to put in its place. So we should have kuhwa u. So again, this shows us what the prefix will be, what the stem will be, and to come in again, like how do we convert these from a negative? So we'd say klesh, kuhwa u. Like I didn't live there. But when we could take that as our model and say, well, if we take the klesh off and we put one on there, I used to live there, but not anymore. Portland, that's
What is hoon in front of Dakahídi?
it's a noun for things that are for sale. And it's also a verb root for selling things. So you could say, Kayaaní, I'm gonna sell this chair. Okay, you okay? A dog ran behind the house with your shoe.
Yeah,
So ratings, you can go ahead and rate this class. Don't forget to rate this class. And be like, it was so fun. I never felt like I was not challenged.
Kudatankahídi.
Kasagu, that's how you write. Just put Kasagu. But student ratings are important. Like, I guess I should be serious. I never tell people to rate my classes. They never do. And then when they review my files, they're like, yo, man, nobody reviews your classes. So
They're like speechless, you know. It's just like,
it's like,
no, it's like,
In the carving class, Wayne, Wayne Price, he said that, or Kevin was saying that because no one did the thing, they were like yelling at him about
oh,
it.
well.
He was like, why?
Emails always go to my junk folder, so if somebody doesn't say anything, I never think to go in and dig through all my stupid spam and find it.
Please rate and review your classes. Okay. Dog ran behind the house.
I always review.
I read so much about this.
In the shadows again. I like this. I like teaching this time of year because I feel very mysterious if I look at my little picture.
Darth Vader.
Yeah.
It's like a noir film.
A dog ran behind the house with your shoe. Shook. Okay, how was this one? What'd you come up with?
I threw together hit ʼakawtuwaneek with itisi.
Geez.
Had hit key kit with a hit it our yigi.
I got Ketlis to Tili Teen way Hitte Wujiki.
Would he be the running?
Yep. Okay. There's probably a few different ways to say this one, in particular with like the word order. And there is a verb, which I think Harper got, which was to carry, for something to carry something in its mouth, especially a dog. So you could say, ʼakawtuwaneek, ʼakawtuwaneek. So it carried my shoe away in its mouth, which I guess a person could as well. but I would always think of a dog if someone told me that. But also like a mouse or like a squirrel. I don't know if it works for like a raven.
Or a toddler.
Yeah, yeah.
A moose once walked away with my swing.
What the? A moose?
A bear once walked away with my hammer.
Yeah, right. So it's to carry. So yes, anything could outweigh you.
Got
As
a
long as it has
very
a
odd
mouth,
picture in my head.
Well, yeah, I mean it's because the verb itself is to bite down. So tuck is usually front teeth, kind of. It doesn't make. It's really interesting to me, but it's also chewing bubble gum. Because we were in a Tlingit class, and somebody was like, the motions of the gum chewing was so extreme. So extreme. And I was asking, and they said, they're really chewing on it. But awayik would be like if for something to bite down really hard. And especially like you think of a dog bite. A lot of times if that dog has bad intentions, it's gonna yik. But maybe those they're like little love nibbles, but if you have a big dog, you get like bruises, like straight up like marks. Anyways, that's what I came up with. Kate Chloe. Oh, the house. Hold on, let me change it. Let me change my answer. Kate Chloe, we hit 8 with your hit team.
Oh, I think teen is being like a person.
It's very mysterious. Teen, because it could be teen, tin, or een.
Right.
I think the old school formula, word before it ends with a vowel, teen, word before it ends with a consonant, een.
A little bit like a gay versus.
Yeah, and so, or like whoosh and wooch. If you're gonna go whoosh, you're usually gonna go tin. If you go wooch, you're usually gonna go een. It's the same thing.
Why is the he compressed in the hick?
Yes. If we come back to motion verbs, you could say hit a day.
Does the J,
Would you he?
does the J make it a motion verb?
Well, it is a motion verb, but with motion verbs, this letter T says it arrived there. So that letter T, in terms of arriving at a place, is a zero conjugation motion. Day is a na conjugation motion. So coming back to motion verbs, they are tricky because their conjugation type changes.
Why is it wujihich and not wudihich?
So this
This is one of the sentences that I did in like 2 minutes, so.
Oh. If we go to the themes, we look in the book of themes, we go down to he. There are several different he verb roots. So the thing I like about the book of themes is you can see them all pretty close together because it doesn't have a whole bunch of different samples and other sort of stuff. So there's he for something to fall. There's he for running, which is our verb. We'll come back to it. There's he for celestial bodies to move, like the sun or the moon. And there's he for something to occur. So this is our verb right here. So it says zero preverb. That means you've got zero motion, right? And there's a whole list of what kind of things will trigger zero motion. But this is a D plus SH classifier. And the plus I version of that is J.
Where is this theme book?
I think it's linked to our class, like kind of right up towards the top. So if you go to tlingitlanguage.com, learning Tlingit, intermediate Tlingit, it should be, there's like a whole list of recommended resources.
It is for advanced.
Oh, I'll put it up there tonight.
It's on the intermediate page.
It's under midterm. There
Oh,
you
it's under
Okay.
midterm.
go. Well,
Yeah. So one more silly question, but what are you using to view the PDF where you're getting the index on the side?
It's preview on a Mac computer. So depending on, like, so I think we had this discussion
last night.
last.
Yeah, I don't think PCs are that smart.
I use Adobe on my PC and it does it.
Yeah.
So
Adobe
what's the name of
Reader.
this file?
I just use a search.
Themes. So here it is in Acrobat. So in Acrobat, it's recently gone through some updates. And so I do think everything's on the right-hand side. And I think it's called bookmarks. And so here you have the bookmarks if you're using Acrobat or Acrobat Reader. Most PDF viewing software will have an option for looking at bookmarks or the table of contents. And so if you open
it's opening up in a Google Drive, which don't give you nothing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you might switch.
HTML is nasty. Oh, so I looked it up. No preview available. File is in owner's trash.
Yeah, you definitely want to download it and have it on your computer. But if you do have to operate from the browser, Chrome has a free Adobe Acrobat extension that will give you all these tools to do it in your web browser.
And let me put it into I'll put it in the chat too. I'll drop them in the chat.
In Chrome, you can also do Control F and do a search for things.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I've been doing it, but
Right, but I'm doing it
it's
in
sometimes easier.
whatever browser I'm using, and the PDF and Pages both say that the file is in the owner's trash. And the HTML is very difficult to use.
And they just shared the PDF. And if you ever can't find anything linked from the website, if you go to the Tlingit curriculum folder, the big massive Google share drive that Kune shared with you at the beginning of the year being semester, just use your search bar for the Google Drive and search whatever file you want. I do this at least once or twice a week for my advanced classmates and share files. That's how you'll find the most updated version.
Yeah, like the Google Drive should just update. Like my dream is that I can just have one link there and I can just update that file. But for some people, it creates confusion in their browser.
I'm not currently in the Zoom.
You're not in the Zoom?
No.
You can get in the Zoom if you want to. Just
Yeah.
don't join the audio. Because if you're in the Zoom...
I know, but if I join, I can't see those until after it's sent.
Well, you could sign into the Zoom right now.
Yes.
Just don't join the audio.
And I will reshare them.
Okay. You okay?
Spiritual text.
I just say text.
Taxonomy. Little text. All little
Text. Here I am in the shadows. I'm trying to figure out what to do. I guess I should have like a little light or something. Okay. Let's do one more. Or maybe we'll do these next. We'll do two more because these are kind of related concepts. I don't know how to build it.
I had a question.
That was a cool wasa hualiyehi.
Okay. Sorry.
Oh,
Tespastaku Patlayesi.
Okay.
I must be dyslexic because I came up with a Kashiek Ayakashaguk or Kashkuk. Let me put in the chat because I think I butchered that pronunciation.
Okay, now try.
Okay. In the room.
Kashkuk, Hualiyehi.
Okay. Okay. There's probably different ways to get to this one. And that's why I like these two kind of right next to each other. Because I do think, so chashakuk is to know how to do something. And then chasaku is to know information, but also like just generally knowing. So you could say chasaku wasayakwaka. I don't know how, or chasaku wasayakwakayi. I don't know how I'm going to say it. Hechasaku dasahastu ikakwashatu. I don't know what I'm going to teach them. So it can link certainly to another verb. I would, and then techashakuk would be like, I don't know how to do the thing. And so for me, because for me, like chashakuk would tie more specifically to hechashakuk atdechechi. I don't know how to build things. So for me, because it's a specific project, I would probably use chasaku. But then when we get to the build it part, because you could say, like if you said, there's a little bit of a difference here between some of these things. And this is all, like Lingi is very fun because it gets into very fine point stuff when you get into these translation exercises, which I think is very fun. I hope you all think it's fun too. So you could say something like this. But what this is saying is, I don't know how I am going to build it. So that's a little bit different. This is just a little bit different than I don't know how to build it. So this is saying, I know I'm going to build it, but I'm not exactly sure how. And if you say, if you wanted to use like klesh choshaguk, then I would, so if you said something like this, I'd have to check and see if this worked. It sounds like I built it, but I didn't know what I was doing while I built it. So it's, and this is very fitting for me because I like to do like little construction things, but I'm like, that thing, and then things fall over sometimes. But for me to get to like the how to build it part, I would end up with one of these ade verb constructions, because that's when we get into the how type of stuff. Sometimes, like when we could say wasa, because that's getting us into a how territory. But this is, I guess, in English, this is how. But I guess the literal sort of thing we would be translating from, I don't know the way to build it. I don't know the way people build it. So I would probably end up with, I don't know how it's built. But there's other, like I think we can still say, we could probably ask different high fluency speakers how to translate this sentence, And I wouldn't be surprised if we end up with 2 or 3 different versions of it. I really know how to play basketball.
I have Kunach Ashteguch Ash Kurch Eta.
Ashkulcheta, Gug. Okay.
I use the classic ku, but given our previous conversation, it's probably better to say the other one. But ashkulchita kunach hosiku.
Yeah, so like these are really good ones to sort of compare, because this would be like, I know so much about basketball, right? I could tell you all about like the Los Angeles Lakers from 1954 or whatever, right? So it tends to lean towards this, and this is kind of almost contrasting this, but in this contraction, like this is, I know about this subject, this type of thing. This is, I know how to do this thing. I really know how to play basketball.
How do we get kush'eta?
Say that again?
How do we get kush'eta? I made up ashkushadi.
Yeah, okay.
Again, 30 seconds, but.
Well, let's go.
I just found it in the dictionary where they were talking about basketball somewhere else.
Oh, like, so I think it's in the verb dictionary. If we get to.
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
saw that briefly and then had a brain fart as I was rushing through it.
So I don't know why they say basketball. You could say kucheta, ʼakawtuwaneek, but we get miss when shooting basketball. We get. So here's the spot that I want us to look at. There's a whole bunch of playing verbs here. And I want to break this into 2 main categories. This one, which is kudatankahídi, is to play quietly by yourself. That's really what it has to do with, which is why I think kashuk is a good name for video games. Although sometimes people are, I guess it gets a little interesting if you're doing like Dance Dance Revolution or whatever the thing was called.
If you're playing an online multiplayer, even though you're physically alone, are you playing with multiple other people?
The key is you're not getting up and moving around. You're sitting there. And the quietly part doesn't always have to be that thing. It's like you're sitting there, you're amusing yourself without getting up and moving around. It's
Like solitaire or twiddling your thumbs or something like that.
Solitaire would be a gambling, because it's a game of chance. So any board games or games of chance would be ashqa.
Would that include Chutes and Ladders?
Yes, I think that would be ashqa. Okay, so,
Charades.
huh?
Charades.
I think that would be ashkusha.
Even though you get up and move around.
Because ashkusha is your general playing verb, but you have to be moving, you have to be running around. You have to be moving around. So if you look through here, outside of like ducks and drakes, is this like some sort of generational thing? Is this what the kids of today are saying? Okay. So, but look at this ashkadle, okay? There's our pattern. So then we have ashkadle cheta. Well, we're saying ashkul for a lot of these. Ashkul cheta, ashkul kishta, or kisha, ashkus kucha, ashkul taka, ashkul kena, ashkul kita, ashkulqeqach, ashkudataja. All of these, and then ashkatliqja. This is a pattern for how to talk about playing in Tlingit. You have this frozen ush in front of it, which probably was uch at one time. And so it comes from uch, I think. And then you have ka, gle. You have those, so you have a ka in there. And so to kind of analyze how this is working, we scroll down so we're not seeing the tukwoot information that we had typed out earlier. So we come down here, we have ush, ka, d plus l. This is the pattern for the playing verb. And then you can have different roots here. So if we say, okay, this is how we talk about playing in Tlingit. If we say, okay, this is comparison, anytime, and so there's 3 different ka prefixes. That's where it gets confusing. The most common one is the horizontal surface. It's all over the place in Tlingit. It's probably the most common thematic prefix. But there's another ka, which is a spherical or round thing. And then there's a third ka, which is to compare something. That's what this one is. So usually when you have that ka, you have the irialis paired up with it. It's a D plus L classifier. And if we just sort of accept that's our pattern, ashkautli, ashkautli, ashkautli. When we come back into the verb dictionary to see these different types of playing, we can now look at the verb root. Gich is to creak. Gichja is the name for a violin. Touch is slap. And people slap the water. That's how people swim. Bears don't swim that way. Deer don't swim that way. Dogs, beavers, none of them swim that way. I've never seen an animal that swims like a person when they do. Like you think of like the classic, I don't even know what that stroke is called. What's that called?
Dog paddle.
Freestyle. Dog paddle is woo-hoo. That's how I swim. Okay, so slapping. So we got creaking, slapping. Qayq is the verb root for swinging. Qayqach is the noun form for a swing. Kits is to rock back and forth, like a rocking chair, seesaw. Kain is the verb root for jumping. Ach is the verb root for flicking something, especially with your thumb. Chuch is to drive or to go by boat or car. Ish is to bat something. Chait, I don't know what that verb root is. It's just basketball at this point. And then yet, this is the last verb root. What do you folks think it is?
It's not just us.
It's the only kinship term
Yadi.
that is a noun.
Oh, it's a child.
Child. Right? So this stuff is... I'm just trying to give you a whole bunch of stuff to do over the summer. Just think about all this stuff. So that's how you get ashkata. And then that is a verb and a noun. Ashkata is basketball. But you could say ashkata. I'm gonna play basketball. Ashkata. We're going to play basketball. Okay. Let's do something a little different. Is everybody okay if we just work through the break, or do you need a break? Hearing nothing, here we go.
Go ahead.
We started I was a little tardy. Okay. So another live on the spot translation. What is Yéil?
Raven on top of
Oh, wait.
seven.
I did the wrong story.
I was like, when did you switch to the
That was coming. We'll see in the fall. So, that's the book that's coming out. We're working on like 4 of these things at the same time. So
A raven in the house of fish.
did we translate this one already? Okay.
Fake.
Yay.
No, you just mentioned it a lot.
Okay. We're gonna do it right now. And judging by the state of the slideshow, I wasn't fully prepared to do this. Maybe.
Are you sure you don't want your 5-minute break?
I don't need
Your
it.
slides.
Born ready. Okay, hold on. Oh, whoops. Okay. I could do it. I have a million windows open. Bilchish. Katiyak Gutlak. Nobody knows how, but I'm gonna succeed. Okay, what am I missing? Maybe. Okay, I need to go text to the Twitcher files. So there is a big, I'm trying to figure out this workbook or these storybooks that are coming out. It's very, I'm trying to decide whether we should be I think we should be putting these out as soon as the books come out. So there's a whole bunch of activities that come with this, including this one I saw in Whitehorse, which I think is brilliant, where you put all the sentences on big pieces of paper, and then you shuffle them up and hand them to students and say, put the story back together. And it's a sentence by sentence level. And then you do it with individual words.
That's pretty common in different types of standardized testing for logic building. It's not, you're given like 5 sentences, like the SATs does this, and you do it in order.
Okay, right? And it, I think it'd be a great exercise. Okay, let me fix the font and then we'll start work on it. Yo, Kudatankahídi.
We're still recording.
Oh. Okay. Hey, chalk, chalk. The cut, oh, why am I reading this?
Right?
Okay, there. Can I get a reader? Go.
Kayaaní, Kudatankahídi.
Hey, okay. So chalk, chalk. How do we translate that?
This one
Long ago.
Long time ago.
This is all one thing.
All the world was water.
Close, but not quite.
Or like
All the world was covered with water.
The cut,
The face of the world was water. Is that ka like horizontal surface?
This ka, so here's something
Is
that I
that
don't
ka
know.
like people?
Well, this is ka on something, right? So we write it like this in the dictionary.
Okay.
But here's something that I don't know if we've talked about. So we're going to put in front of it. So you could say a kuk, and you can also say a ka. So ka might gobble up this and just become ka. And that's what it's doing right here. So to cut all, this or right here, Kayaaní ka. So what's Kayaaní?
Think
So
a country.
we're gonna do this. And I'm gonna make this a single, well, if I can. This is a single thing. Kayaaní ka Yéil. This suffix right here, because it does not go high, it's like, if that was a relational suffix, it would go high. But this is what we call the attributive suffix. So its job is to turn a verb into an adjective.
The face of
So
the
that
world
means-
being water.
This is the noun. This whole phrase has become an adjective to describe that noun.
It was a water world.
Water was all over the world.
The water was worldly.
No. Okay, so what we're doing right now is
Water is the world.
we're making that into it's a verb. You folks are still thinking about it as a verb.
The world is water.
Kayaaní ka Yéil.
There was only water.
The water was the world.
Not quite.
The water was world-esque.
We need to stop. Can you say the sentence without was?
The water is world-esque.
And you cannot use any.
Oh,
The linking verb is, was, will be needs to be out because it's not a verb. This has become an adjective.
the world.
For
Water
example,
on the world.
Water world.
the water on the world. Yes.
The water on
Okay.
the world.
Kayaaní ka Yéil. The water that is on the world. This is one. So you could do this with stuff, right? So you could say, whoops, what is that? In sati. The one who is with me. And so this, you could say X'éig, Kate, the strong dog, right? Chasachani, Goosh, the cat I love. You can do this too.
So could you also say the world's water?
You can't say the world. You would have to say the Kudatankahídi ka yin.
The water
have
of
to
the world, maybe. Because water is a subject.
The water that is on the world. And coming back, the Kudatankahídi ka Yéil. All of the water on the world.
Was salt water.
Okay. Sheesh. Any questions about that?
So it's not saying that the world was covered with water, it's just wherever there was water, it was salt water.
Yes, all of the water on the world. So Kayaaní ka Yéil this is a single noun, hin, and all of this is describing it. The water that is on the world. All of the water on the world. Let's see. Okay. Can I get a read?
Ya yesh kwa yech ya sani ka yachat hine ka Canada yehin plank.
Sheesh. Start with this. Yéil kwa.
Raven, however,
We'll go with the raven.
So is kwa the same as kwa?
Yes, it's a contraction of ku'a. Haushayech.
They made.
he built it. They built it.
Yeah, they built it, they made it. Ya'a.
Like a lake.
It's like
The rivers, or sorry, the lakes, yeah. The little lakes.
and the fish
And the
water.
rivers.
Fish creeks, streams. The big
And then
rivers.
the big water. The big deep water. Flowing.
Okay. 30 sentences, no problem. Kesh kekuchletzi. Okay. Anybody not read yet? Great time to.
The cut. Yashenke anika. Yeyati cut. Yahit. Ye ye wuti. Ya esh. Hinika.
Sheesh. This is very familiar to something we looked at just not too long ago.
It's all of the fish in the world.
Fish.
All the fish in the world.
All the fish in the world. I just like to have fun. I'm not making fun of anyone. I just like to have. Now we get. Let's do one thing at a time. Sorry, that's probably not easy to read.
You're in a house.
The house. Not sure what the ye is doing.
What is the ye doing? Let's talk about that for a second.
We looked at it first and I was thinking it was something with y'all, and then I'm like, no, that doesn't make sense.
Oh, yeah. So here's we have a homonym problem. So there is a ye, which is y'all's. There is a ye, which is it happened to y'all. There is a ye, which is below a noun. And there is a ye, which is inside of a building or house when you're talking about it and you're outside of that building or house. Which is what this one is.
It's not calling us all fish.
What's that?
They're not calling us all fish.
No. And it's not y'all's house.
Inside the house became.
Well,
We're
yeah,
inside the house.
Yewuti is it was that way. But if we get certain things before it that talk about something being located in a spot, it says it was there. All the fish in the world were in a house or building. Well, it just says, well, let's say house right now.
This is on the salt water.
On the ocean.
Yeah, on the ocean.
Be on the surface of the salt water, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But it's just the ocean. Because, okay, there is chuka. That's the surface of the water. But in this case, it's not really, it's talking about it if it's floating. So you don't need chuka. You say echinika, it's on the ocean. Okay.
Something interesting I'm pointing out about this is that in English, we would say like all the fish in the world
Right.
versus on the world. I think that's something to note for like thinking about writing your own sentences in conversation. That often that whatever that little word is, like what is ka or yik, it's actually not the one that you would use directly in English. So think about we would say in the world or in the ocean, but both of these are on the ocean or on the world.
Yeah, when, like, which one you use, I think it's something that does take time. Because, like, if I were to say, pour it in this cup, okay, I'll give you the verb, and you give me the rest. Well, I'll say, ya, guka, blank, kasecha.
Ik.
Ka.
Depends whether it has a lid on it.
Well, you can't pour, well, if it has a lid, well, yeah. It would be ka.
There's no transportation in the cups and ticket? Is that what you're telling me?
Ya, guka, ka, kasecha. Pour it, but that would be in the cup. Isn't that wild? Mm-hmm. So you have to just sort of remember these things as you encounter them. The way that the Tlingit Tundetani categorizes things in the world. Because you have Tlingitani Ka, there's a term Tlingitani Tukwani, which is people of the world. And then you could say Tlingitani X'éig, on the world. Ka is probably the most common one.
Why too funny? Why not just Kwan?
I don't know. The people inside the world.
Okay.
Because that's why. Otherwise, it would not be confusing enough for all of us second or more language learners.
I'm pretty sure it's a think I might have first said because I said so.
Oh, okay.
That's really an intimidating sentence. I feel like it needs to be at least 2 or 3.
Well, I think those first 3, they were like the sentences that lure you in. Come on in the house. Look at these little sentences. Yeah, there's this Kayaaní thing. Got you. Okay. We might have to look some things up here, but
Just
what else is together?
Just these hand drinks? I don't know what that word is. Hand drink?
Jididana?
Okay, who's gonna read it?
I recognize Dana as money.
hand money.
Everybody stop. We need someone to read this.
Who
And
hasn't
Tlingit.
done it yet?
Sheesh. Anybody not read yet?
Chasya Jiridana Kasharina Ki Chasha Aya Yaktlank Hastaqa'u Ayaklitzin Yediki Ya Elhini Kadeya Ashlini Chani Khatka.
Hey, jeez. Yeah, this is an all-star sentence. We might have to look up a couple of things. Okay. So we've run aground on Jididana. Is that true? Let's go look in the dictionary.
I have theories.
There's no results found.
Okay, well you do have Goog still in front of your search bar.
Cheating.
Oh. There it is. Cheat. I have no idea.
What's the D in that? Because Handy.
J.
Oh, it's right.
That's the classifier. This is a verb. Jitidana. When George translated this, he really laughed. He thought it was funny. Jitidana ka. So it sounds like they just got like just a whole bunch of money in their hand.
Like Scrooge McDuck voice. Like,
Yeah, it would be Jitidana.
That's what I was thinking.
It'd also be Shaqaiq. It's really
Swimming around
stingy.
in his piles of money.
Right? Okay, just rich people. What about Shatenaki?
Leaders.
Yeah, just rich people.
Leaders.
Lead- Just Hasaya.
Just
Only they. Only they had big boats.
Yeah. Do we know why this is Daqa'u?
Nope.
Okay. So we're going to have to step over the notes here for a second. So you could say has. Let's go find this verb first. Let's go to. Let's go here. Don't give up. Thank you for database for reminding us. So we're going to go down to oo. And we are looking for this. So this is ayau. Oh, does this need to be a high tone? Well, it's not going to be. So you could say.
Ignore and hand mark every single one.
Okay. Hasayau. This would be. This could be they own it. This could be. Or it could be they all own it. They own those things, I guess. I don't know. Them all. And then it could be they all own them all things, right? What this thing does, there's another pluralizer in Tlingit. And sometimes it's a low tone dach, and sometimes it's daqa. And it all depends on whether the thing after it is kind of a vowel-ish type of thing or not. And this is a plural, and it has kind of, I think, two main uses. It's a non-human pluralizer, or it's what we call distributive, which means it is plural, but they are not all in the same sort of place. So the reason why you have this is they individually are owning these big boats. So this is interesting because in Tlingit it's not saying they collectively own this fleet of boats, but they each have big boats. Damn it, it's a high tone. Okay. How close to printing are we? Okay, each one will have a few things. Okay.
We have interns, they can go through and mark them.
It's cool.
All 10,000 copies.
You send them back to Nick and Kelsey. There you go, artists. Draw some high tone. Okay.
There's interns for that.
Ayach Chitzin.
He has strength, or he's strong. They are strong.
What is ayach?
Is it strong enough?
Yeah.
To be above.
Deki.
Like out in the ocean.
Dicky.
To go far out in the ocean.
I confuse those two sometimes.
Oh. It's like a single, it's not fair. Deki. Okay, Shengid, we're going to add this to the list of things that we're saying are not fair. Kade. Okay, now we just have Khachani Kuchani. Where are we going to go? Somebody guide me to a resource.
I would probably
Looks like a verb
guess
with a
that that would,
chunny at the end.
yeah, meek and then chunny. So
What
I
if
would
I-
dissect that.
What if I just went to the dictionary, copy and paste?
That would be way too easy. No, we can't do that. Stop it.
Fine. Well, that's what I did. So this is another really cool thing. I could probably put a list of these together somewhere, and maybe I have done it already.
Of your adjectives and adverbs.
The only problem with this document is I can never remember which one's the most recent one. Is it this one?
There's no date on one, but I have one that's 6 pages.
I don't
That's
think
called
it's this
Klinket Adjectives and Adverbs.
one. Okay.
I'll drop that in the chat.
Sheesh.
It may not be your most recent though. Okay, I'm trying to find my app.
Oh, here. Okay. So I do believe this is a document. I've made 2 different versions and I can't remember which one is the most recent. But it's good. Maybe we'll end class today talking about adjectives and adverbs. So adjectives modify a noun. Adverbs modify a verb. So with Tlingit, adjectives come down to 2 different groups. The dash at the end means this comes before the noun. If there's a long dash at the front, that means it comes after the noun. So look at these things. So some of these are just adjectives. Tlingit doesn't have a whole bunch of them. Ake, yes. Atlain, yes. Chagu, yes. Those are all straight adjectives. These ones with chun and sometimes tsun and sometimes chun are built out of verbs. So dutli tau chun, dutli u chun, dutli tau chun, dutli u chun. And there's something about this tsun or chun or chun that means it easily becomes that way or just sort of is that way. So if we go through this list, here's kasha chun, it's easy to wash. Kasha chun, it's interesting to watch. So this one I think I hear kasha chun is probably one of the most common one of these. It means it's dangerous, it's scary. And then we go down, I think that one's on there twice. Maybe it's a spelling thing. I chun heats up easily. What chun, it breaks easily. Was chun, it's nice to roast. And I think if we scroll down, we'll find the one that we're looking for, I think. Oh, chun. It's a fascinating person to listen to. And then chani, and we get chani. This is the cake dialect. This is how it would be said in most other places. It's delicious. It's something, and I don't know if looks needs to really be there. It is something that is delicious. It's good for bait. And then we have adverbs, which we'll just talk about for a little bit. Chaqeqa, I like that one a lot. And it means for nothing. It's like there's a verb built in here, which is to swing. It's like you pushed it out and it just came right back. Chakutyede, differently. Chakugeyi, haphazardly. Chanich, another way to say for nothing. It means it's just on the beach. Chayuk, which can also be chayuk, is suddenly. Chak, long ago. Day, already. Desquach, also already. I have to do some more research to figure out the difference between those. Dechwa, finally, especially if you're from Teslin. Glinquat, carefully, or gliuquat. Ziyagan, after a while. Ziyak. Gidain, greatly. Qa, sufficient or acceptable. Qunayade, differently. Qunay, starting to. Ishandain, pitifully. Kashtaqainach, slowly. Kasayidain, strangely. So this Dane thing is another way that some of these adverbs, it's how adverbs can be built. There's something about this sun or chun or chun when it comes to building adjectives. There's something about this Dane suffix type of thing when you're building adverbs. Katechdain, crookedly. Kutzadain, amazingly. Anyways, here's this. I'll make sure this is in. It should be in the chat, and we'll make sure that it's on our class page today. So to wrap it up, we were flying along, and then we hit this big fun sentence. Just the rich people, the leaders, only them, I guess, only they had big boats strong enough to go far out in the ocean. How are we going to end it? For the fish that are tasty. For the tasty fish, right? For the delicious fish, tasty fish, yes. And so if you're going to get something, you would say qa. I think earlier someone might have said kuhi de dek kwakut. Kuhi de qak kwakut. I'm going to go get a pencil.
Yeah, I remember that from some of the homework stuff, like going to the store for milk or going through.
Right? And that, just that qa on there means I'm going to go get that thing. Okay. Tachunach. 1, 2, 3. We're like 5. We're 1/6 of the way done. Easy. Then we have 4 more sentences, I think, to translate. That's a fun way to end the semester. Any questions?
Is there any class Thursday?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, wait. There was a little delay. So, I'd say you weren't answering the question in the room, right?
No, I was answering your question. Are there any other questions?
That was even funny because sounds like yes and shinget. So that was a neat moment because the question in the room was, is there any class on Thursday? And right after that question came, you came through with like, which I think was saying you don't have a question. But then I said, were you
That's
answering?
what I meant.
And then you said, so it sounded like yes.
Sorry.
It's all good.
Bad internet connection.
Well, I do think just to I don't think we've talked about this very much this semester, but I do think there is a bit of a delay from what we're talking. Like when we talk into these little microphones and with through the Zoom universe, and what you folks are hearing, because it's quite common for someone in the class to start talking, but then I don't think it's hitting you folks. Like there's like and it's not long. It's like 2 or 3 seconds maybe. But then, so that's why sometimes there's just interesting sort of, the words are meeting in the air.
The joy of
That's what it leads to.
Okay, I don't think we'll get to this sentence. The next one that's coming up. We've probably done enough. And I really appreciate all the work that you folks are doing. This is big. You're in big language territory. This is really fun stuff. And this was, I worked with George and Marge quite a bit. And I worked with Nora quite a bit. And like these books that are coming out, even though there's little typos in them still, it's the result of like a decade of incredible work with incredible people. And so I told them, and so I said, my kids eat real food and I want them to hear real language. So a lot of the work that I was doing at that time was really trying to harvest a lot of language before we lost these wonderful speakers. And they were so fun. They used to go to a bunch of different events and nobody would really talk to them. Because they're just these old people in the corner, you know. But I don't think a lot of people knew like what a treasure they were, just walking around among us. But that was just the era we were living in. And so I'm so thankful for all the work that they did on these stories. Like this one was really a lot of fun. So we're going to get to some of, like, to be fair, every one of these stories, I think, contains at least one undocumented verb. Like it was never written down anywhere else. So it's not easy stuff. So, yidichkat, shnich, yidichka, shnich, pat yourself on the back. Good job, everybody. See you on Thursday. There is class on Thursday.
And we'll do the rest of it.
Yeah, and we'll do the rest of those sentences.
Sheesh.
Sheesh.